All right, you're in business. Hey, Addison, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
So, some familiar faces here on Cube, some new faces. Great to have you all here. This is, I believe, the seventh Cube session that we've hosted now since we kicked this program off. And this one's very special and near and dear to my heart because I'm joined today by the brains behind the whole program, Joseph Alvarez, last year at SDP at our summer development program, just made this passing comment about how impactful it had been to hear a more like job shadowing, day in the life type perspective directly from team members and to just see what that work actually looks like. And that was the inspiration for this program. So I am joined today by the man himself. Quick introduction, I'm Steve Holden. I'm on our learning and development team as an instructional designer and have been at Cardinal for a little over 2 years now. So that's my story. We're going to go around and give introductions for everybody, but Joe, if you want to go next.
Yeah, actually, I did not know that I was part of that.
You are.
I have been with Cardinal for the last 3 years. I was a porter, worked my way to a tech. I'm the MTL for Fremont Station. I've been to 3 properties in 3 years, so I've been known as either a good luck charm or a dark cloud, because either we get to 100% and then our owner wants to sell us or do a master lease.
Yep. Awesome, man. Great journey, great story, and we'll dive into that a little more as we go. But I'm just going to go around the grid as I see it here. So just a quick introduction, who you are, what you do at Cardinal, and what you're hoping to get out of our time today. Akmar, if you want to go.
Yeah, I'll go. So hi, my name is Oxmar. I'm new here. I don't know if you guys have been doing this for a while. I don't know really much about this, but I'm excited to learn. And that's one thing that I always like to do. And I always like to teach to any of my techs. I'm an MTL over here at Verve Boise in Boise, Idaho. And I've been with Cardinal for about 3 years, almost 3 years. And I've been at 2 different properties. And yeah, like Joseph said, if it's not at 100%, it's not good enough. And so, yeah. Is there anything else that you want me to answer?
No, you're great. Thanks for being here, Oxmar, and welcome.
Thank you.
How about you, Courtney?
Hi, everyone. I know a couple of you, but some faces are new. My name is Courtney Richardson. I'm a portfolio manager 3 or senior portfolio manager for Harrison Street and Friends. So work closely with a couple of people that are on this call. I've been with Cardinal for 9 years, have worked with multiple different people, multiple different departments. I love the opportunity when I can to join things like this to meet new people, learn new things. I think that you learn something new every day. So just excited for the collaboration and to hear what this is about.
Awesome. Thanks, Courtney. You're coming up on your 10-year trip. Very exciting. What about you, Sherry?
I am Sherry Forsyth. I am an instructional designer. I'm counterpart to Steve, and I've been at Cardinal for about 6 months. I'm here to find out a little bit more about the roles and experiences of everybody at Cardinal.
Love it. Very glad to have you here, Sherry. Megan, you want to go next?
Hello, I'm Mike Freeman. I'm a traveler, so been to lots of different properties. I've been with Cardinal about 1.5 years now, and I was lucky enough to work with Joe on one of our properties that did get a master lease signed and left us. But I'm usually on these calls, but I'm really excited to get to hear Joe on this one. So excited for him. So
yeah, you're a regular, Megan. It's great to see you again. And like in your seat, you have so many different experiences and perspectives throughout the organization that it's cool to have you on these as well.
thank you.
Hello. So I'm coming up on 2 years with Cardinal pretty soon. I'm an LMTL over at Fremont Station Apartments. Actually work over with Joe right now. So I've already got to learn a bunch from him. I always enjoy joining these calls though, just because it's Joe says it the same way. I don't like being a one-trick pony. I like knowing every single ins and outs of the process, so that way I can make a more informed decision whenever I have difficult decisions to make. But yeah, so that's pretty much me.
I love it. Yeah, that curiosity, I think, is what the common thread here with all of us. So it's great to hear you say that. How about you, Addison?
My name is Addison Brandon. Addison is the first name. Brandon is the last. Round. So you said it right, Steve.
Right.
I am the maintenance team lead of Parkway Plaza in State College. And I have been with Cardinal coming up on a year. I've been with these properties for a couple of years. They were just purchased recently or managed by Cardinal beginning of last year. And I'm here because I want to grow within this company. I've worked for a couple different management companies, and this is the one I chose to come back to rather than chose to leave. So I just want to grow within the company, and this seemed like a good avenue to go through.
Love it. Yeah, I think the choosing to return is a big endorsement, right? So it's great to hear you say that. How about you, Tony?
Hey, I'm Tony. I'm an MTL here in Columbia, Missouri, and I'm a huge Joseph fan. I actually interviewed him for a maintenance technician position before he got his team lead position. Just kind of been following him along the way, and actually got to meet him last week as he traveled to some of the Columbia properties here to help out. And so I just wanted to support him on this call like I do the rest of our maintenance team. So
I love it. Great to hear that. I'm glad you guys met in person. That's wonderful. How about you, Vince?
Hey, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Hey,
Good.
my name is Vince. I'm an MTL in Virginia. Hold on, let me put my camera on. I think that's rude. I got my picture up here. Hold on one sec. There we go. I'm MTL in Virginia. I've been with Cardinal for a little bit over a year. I help out from time to time, going from property to property as needed. And right now I'm just trying to learn more and get into the Cardinal way.
Love it. Yeah, that's definitely bringing us all together here today, is that appetite for more, for knowledge, growth. So you're in good company. I just want to set the tone throughout this next 50 minutes that we're all here together. There's no bad time to ask a question. There's no bad questions. Throw questions in chat and we'll get them. Raise your hand, come off mute. We want to hear from you throughout this time, regardless of what we're talking about. And I am very happy to have, so many maintenance voices on the call today. So excited to hear the dialogue, the exchange, the meeting of the minds here. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into some questions for Joe and then hand it off to him to talk through his approach to the work and the role. So I know you touched on this a little bit in your intro, Joe, but if you could just give a quick little summary of your path to the role you're in now.
Yeah, like I said, I started off as a porter at a property in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and that's actually where I met Courtney way back when. And then I left for a little bit, boomeranged back over, took on a new property, became maintenance tech. My property was going to sell, so I had the option of stay with Cardinal or stay with the property. And I've just really, since day one, I've been such a fan of Cardinal and everything that I stayed with them, moved up to Lawrence, Kansas, spent a year there at Naismith Hall. That year I got accepted to SDP, got to go out to Denver and meet, the inner workings of the company and whatnot. Came back from that trip. A week later, got told, hey, we're getting the boot. So had to quickly scrounge and look for what my next option was going to be. And luckily, it was the 11th hour. I get a call from my now CM asking for an interview, and then packed up everything and moved to Flagstaff, Arizona.
It's a wild ride, man. And, you talked about the day one commitment to Cardinal and what we do. To my knowledge, you're the only person I know with the logo tattooed on your body. So that's that's telling of how deeply you feel that.
There's one other person.
And it's a great segue into my next question. What do you feel like is something unique that you bring to the role you're in?
I mean, the willingness to learn and the willingness to listen. And as, mentors and leaders, that's what we have to do the most. We can never say that we're an expert at something. We have to always be willing to learn more and be a student of learning. But also the willing to listen. One day your team member is going to have a bad day and it's going to be obvious. It's going to be on their face. But you have to pull them aside and 8 minutes kind of thing. Just, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about it. Whether it's, the amount of times I've just been like, come on, let's go. Let's get in the car, go get lunch, go get Starbucks, whatever, just to help them clear their head and figure out what's going on with them that's going to make them the better person for the company.
Yeah, I love that. I definitely saw that in you last year meeting SDP, that commitment to developing yourself and also others, and that willingness to learn, to just be a sponge, absorb information. And I think to your point, being a good listener is really at the heart of that, being open to new perspectives. I don't know the exact quote, but the sentiment is like, carry yourself as though every room you walk into, someone in that room knows something you don't, which I think is likely to be pretty true regardless, but I think it's just a good sort of like exercise and thought process, because that's the way you stay open to newness.
Yeah.
Right? When you get set in your ways, that's when you stop learning and growing. So I love to hear that's what you chose to pick out as that trait. And similarly, when you're looking to round out your own team, what do you look for? What do you see in people that speaks to you? Could be skills, background, mindset, any of the above.
Well, for me, it's I came into a team, so I had a really great team when I came here. But one thing that I've always told my team is, whatever you don't know that I do know, watch me. Let me teach it to you, and vice versa. I have team members that know how to do things that I'm still learning how to do. And, hey, I'm not over your shoulder to watch your work and make sure you're being babysat. I'm doing it because I want to learn. I definitely believe in the see it, do it, teach it. So it is our responsibilities, especially as leaders and mentors, that once we need to see how something's done, once we know how it's done, we go and do it, practice it in real world. And then after that, it is our job to teach our team how to do it, especially as, MTLs, as LMTLs, whatever we know how to do, it is our job to make sure our team can do it. In the sense, you want your team to kick you out of here is always my mindset. I want my team to get rid of me.
Yep. Yeah, the training your replacement notion. Yeah,
it's the we're responsible to see the ones around us rise. It is our job to see them become higher or better than us.
Yep. Very much agreed. That's the role of a leader, is to develop future leaders. And we're talking that language throughout the organization as we build these leadership competencies and more programs to support them. That is very much the vision. It's the rising tide lifting all boats, but really developing people and empowering people to grow in the directions they would like to. So sort of on that vein, what do you see as opportunities for greater collaboration between our on-site layers and the HQ teams? How do you see that dynamic?
Well, so for me, like, if we have sister properties in the same town, I believe that we should be getting together with them, whether it's maintenance teams or, once a week, once a month, whatever. Just the collaboration of being able to bounce off of someone is what makes you a better person. Having someone, because I went to, like Tony was saying, I went to his property. Tony has a vast knowledge on so much. And we had another MCL at another property who has been in the position for about a month. And all three of us came together one day and had a lunch and talked, and the things that the other MCL doesn't know how to do, Tony was able to help fill him in, and like, hey, if you need help, call me. And while I was on his property too, just going through, teaching him how to do a lot of the computer work of it, because a lot of maintenance guys are not tech savvy when it comes to even placing orders.
Mhm.
So it's just the collaboration with your fellow minds and just figuring out how to work together.
Yeah, Addison.
I just wanted to add in on that there's also responsibility on our ends when we're reaching out to someone saying, hey, we can help you, that kind of thing. Follow up. I have seen people not necessarily within this company or anyone near me, but I've seen people before who will go out of the way of saying, the boss is right there, that person visiting's right there, and then say, I could definitely help you out with that. Like, I know how to do this, like, we'll get together and do that. And then you never get together. So I've always found that, keep holding yourself responsible as a leader to go through and do exactly what, Joseph's saying here is, help them. I mean, why would you hold those skills to yourself? Because it only helps our company grow and become better if you can share those skills. So I loved what Joseph was saying, and I've always held true to that. Follow through with what you're saying. Don't just say it because it makes you look good too.
Yeah, and I actually still follow up with because I've been doing a couple of travels here and there, and every place that I go to, I follow up with the MTL is probably about once a month, and then so on and so forth throughout the year. Just, hey, what's going on? Hey, how's everything going? Hey, did XYZ problem get resolved after I left? Instead of just, I was just there for a week. That's not my problem anymore.
Yep. Yeah, you're building a community, that exceeds just the bounds of the community where you're working and operating. And I think there's so much opportunity there. But yeah, to your point, Addison, the follow through has to be paired with that desire in the first place. Vince, I see your hand. You can circle back to us when you have a good second. Any other thoughts on that sort of community cross collaboration piece? I love that, Joe.
What I was saying was, I'm sorry, I hit my knee. I just wanted to piggyback on what they were saying about keeping in touch with the people that you talk to, like MTLs. Like everyone that I've been to so far, other properties, I call them at least once a week just to check in and see if they need anything, if it's something I can help from my end. If they have any questions on anything, to make sure they're okay and they're good. I also, along with that, I talked to the CM too, to see if they, other people have other perspectives of what other people need. So I talked to the CM too, just to see if it's something that they see that they need help with, that I can help them with from afar. Like a lot of these guys the property I've been to, they don't know a lot about ACs or whatever. So they call me all the time. And I try and walk them through as far or as much as I can from what they tell them. The information is given to me and what I can tell them how to look to try to solve the problem. So I think that's a good thing to do, just to keep in touch with people, and it keeps everybody, communication's key.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you're all sort of speaking the same language, but you're sharing that tactical knowledge, but you're also building a support network. You have each other's back, and I think that sentiment is probably a part of what kept you at Cardinal, Joe. What brought you back to the teams is the sense of support that I have certainly felt across the board. So I love that you are all carrying that torch forward. Do you feel like, Joe, this is a follow-up, but do you feel like there's opportunities for us to make it more formalized and programmatic in terms of these like cross collaborations, or do you feel like that would detract in some way from?
Yeah, actually, this is I've been harping on this one for about a year now. Getting maintenance, either having our own version of a summit or getting maintenance to summit. We have CMs who go to property or who go to summit, and they'll have the day with HD or with the new Entrada, and they'll be telling them about how new things are rolling out for maintenance. And now you're expecting someone to come back and give me the second story of what they were told.
Yep.
Rather than me being able to hear it, from the mouth.
Yep. Yeah. Just introducing multiple layers of telephone to the
And so that's why, I've been saying it, what do we got to do to get maintenance at Summit? Well, there has to be some way to get them there rather than just being nominated for an award.
Yeah. I'm with you 1,000%. I think we're getting better every year, but yeah, my goal is to expand access to Summit every year, because I think it is such a special time, and I felt so much more connected to everyone when I had my first Summit, and really just saw firsthand what everyone had been talking about for so long. So I will certainly bring that feedback back. But any other thoughts, Megan? Maintenance a huge part? Yeah. Yep. Having a voice at the table, I think it's a universal thing that makes people feel valued and makes people feel like they're part of something bigger. Nobody wants to just, get orders from on high without a clear why communicated. And I think we err on that side a little more than I would like, but I think we're walking in the right direction. I think SDP this year, we incorporated some feedback to get more of a maintenance representation, and you helped drive that in a big way, Joe. So appreciate that you guys are all, continuing to show up and continuing to advocate for yourselves and your teams. I think that's huge and what we need to continue moving forward. So any other questions about any of these topics before I hand it over to Joe to talk through his approach to the role and to the work? Nothing else? Okay. And again, feel free to raise your hands, come off mute, throw questions in chat as we're talking. There's no bad time for that. So yeah, let's hear it, Joe.
All right. For me, it's a lot about mentorship. Like, mentorship is really what drives, your team, and it's being a mentor can be two ways. You can have a good mentor and you can have a bad mentor. And I actually brought this up to I was on a call the other day with Rob Wood about it, and he even said a mentor is, someone you learn from, whether it's what you don't want to do or it's what you do want to do. And yep. I can truly say that since I've been with Cardinal, I've been in the boat of both. I had a mentor who, grabbed me by the hand, said, "You're going to learn how to do this, this, and this." Was very much the teacher that I needed. And then I've had a mentor where it taught me what I didn't want to be. It taught me that I needed to have a team that wanted to work together, that, again, like I said, checking in on your team members. Even, your letter for SDP is supposed to be written by your manager above you. I had to go to my highest manager because I didn't have someone who was there to look out for me in the sense of maintenance. So yeah, it's very much, you can have a good mentor and a bad mentor, but it's what do you want to learn from it? And for me, I've learned what I want to be and what I don't want to be. And, you want to be the leader that you wish you had. So when it comes to leading these teams, it's what inspirations do you want to take? You had someone, like I said, that took me by the hand. I did lunch once a week with my old MTL. Then I had an MTL that everyone would ask me where he is. So I've been in both boats, and I know that I want my team to know that they can rely on me. For me, mentorship is probably my most important aspect, whether it be, being the leader. Sorry, hold on.
You're good.
Then what else do you want to move over to the on-site? So for me, it's just knowing my team balance. like I said, you know, I feel like I'm probably going to repeat myself a lot, but for me, it's team balance. It's knowing my team. I've always had a rule with my teams, or with like my team right now. If in 1 month I can't name 3 things about you, then I owe you lunch. So I've done those kinds of things with them just to build their morale. You know, and for me, that's what it means to have a balanced team. You know, never feel that you're in charge, but take care of the ones that you're in charge of, kind of idea. I also believe that I'm never too big for a certain job. You know, a lot of times with the MTL, you know, we come with having to do paperwork and having to make sure orders are placed, having to make sure, you know, there's other aspects than just getting to be out in the field fixing things. But hey, a work order came in saying it's a clogged toilet. All right, I got it. Don't worry, I'll go do it. I don't ever believe that I'm too big to go back to where I started. You know, I've definitely picked up grounds around property. I've done the gross work orders. I've never just been. I'm not the type of person just to be, hey, I worked my way all the way up here. You're down there. You go do it. So for me, it's a lot of just never saying you're too good to do something.
Yep.
And
sure.
I mean, it definitely helps build your team, like knowing that, okay, if he's willing to go do this, then I should be willing to go do it.
Yep. Yeah, that servant leadership framework. Yeah, Addison.
I have a question, and I know this is going to vary depending on team to team kind of thing. But I remember, because I was a tech in this exact same area, same place, everything like that before I had this position. And I remember there were times where I would be frustrated that I'm like, my supervisor's not doing anything. And like, I feel like I'm being pulled in 30 different directions, and I could use just that second set of hands. Now, being in this position when you have 35 emails to respond to within 22 seconds and have, you know, and I understand the rules and the responsibilities of that a little bit more, but having been a tech before and having been frustrated by that, this is open to anyone, but how have you best found being able to communicate to your team when you're able to help and when you're not, to the point of, I have to get A, B, and C done for us to succeed as a whole, but then when I'm doing this, I can help you without a doubt, kind of thing? Like, when have you how have you been able to delineate the two, or show them, I'm not just sitting on my butt for 6 hours in my office. Unfortunately, today I have to sit on my butt in my office for 6 hours. You know, and how have you communicated that?
So one thing I do have, as soon as you walk in my office, I have my calendar written out, and it shows every single meeting, my MTL Zone 1 meeting, my HSRE weekly meeting, my maintenance roundtable, my cube calls. So I have it all listed. So when it's like, hey, what does that say? Where do you think I'm doing? Like, where do you think I'm at? I do my emails first thing in the morning, and then the last like 4 o'clock to 5 is when I come in to finish up emails. Unless there's like, hey, you need to come answer this right now. I try to be, you know, out in the field with them as much as possible. But it's just that open communication of like, you know, I don't have it. For me, I hate secrets. I hate hiding things. You know, I'd rather be just straight up and tell you, here's what I'm doing. You know, it's mostly Mondays are my heavy days, to where I'm just like, all right, I'm going to sit in my office all day. But at the same time, I make sure my team knows this is what's going on. It's never just me hiding in the back room kind of thing.
So I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here to the visibility is accountability thing. I completely and totally understand that. if you were not in a basement on a computer. And like for us, our properties are stretched out very, very far. I know there's a lot of properties like that. So when I could be gone all day and not be at the property at all because of different places I have to go to get parts, get stuff like that, to where my team may not see me for 6-7 hours at a time. Then when they come see me for the last 30 minutes of the day, I'm on the computer for the last 30 minutes of the day.
Mhm.
But to them, it seemed like because I was not assisting directly with any work orders or not directly working with them, but I was doing all the background stuff that they don't have access to see, it makes me look like I'm not doing anything, which again, before as a maintenance tech, I was very frustrated by that. But I just want to know, like, the stuff that isn't calendared out that we have to do as leadership. I mean, there's times where we're talking with our community managers. There's times where we're responding to vendors. We're on the phone with vendors. I mean, there's stuff that's not scheduled out that takes me away from that. And I don't want them to feel like I'm not doing any work and I'm not participating, but just being in their position before. I've been there and I've been frustrated. And now I understand why my supervisor was always on the phone. I can't get it to stop ringing. I've had 6 phone calls while we've been on this call, so like, it's just.
So I will say, with the other 2 properties I was at, and my office, or the maintenance office, was opposite side of the property. And then the other maintenance office was all the way at the top of the 10th floor penthouse. So no one ever saw maintenance. But for me, I stole an office the second I got onto my site. And because I believe that maintenance needs to be seen in the office. It's the fact that when we have these, I don't know why, I don't get it. Every property, except for like the Groves, decided to put all their maintenance shops in the farthest corners, so no one ever knows where maintenance is. And I hate it. It's a stigma that I have been trying to break, that maintenance needs to be in the office, at least to be seen. So then that way, but then when it comes to vendor meets and running to get parts, I usually take at least one of my guys with me, just so then they can see, like, hey, here's the HVAC vendors we go to. Here's the, the random plumbing vendor we go to. So then that way, not if, but when I leave this site, they know where things are. So that's what I do. I always try incorporating them into my work, so then that way they know what has to be done when I'm not here.
Yeah, really insightful question, Addison. I love the response, Joseph. I think, that's so much of what we're talking about, of empowering future leaders, is giving them those little insights into the role, into why your capacity is strained in ways they might not see, and you're equipping them for their own future success and career growth. So I love that. I think it brings it all together. Yeah, I saw your hand, Vincent. You are next, and then we'll get you, Courtney.
Hey, on that aspect about where you talking about people don't know what your supervisor is doing and giving them a calendar and all that. What I normally do with my guys every morning, where we have our morning meetings, and I got meetings. I got such and such meeting at 12 o'clock. I got another meeting at 2 o'clock. And so they know, have a heads up. So if I ain't around, they know where I'm at.
Yeah.
So that's why I said communication is key. So you already know the day before, because everybody's got Google account. You already know what you got. So if you having your morning meetings and you let your guys know what you're doing already or what they have to do, and you just throw it out there, okay, today I have a call with so-and-so at 12 o'clock. I may not be available for a half hour to an hour. And then if you have more than one meeting, you just let them know, so everybody's on the same page. So I think that will help you out a whole lot.
Yeah, for sure. Setting those expectations and getting everyone aligned, I think, goes a long way. And to your point, being proactive about it, right? I think that's so much of what I've seen our high performing maintenance teams and team members speak to, is the need to be proactive and future thinking. There's just too much on your plate to possibly handle it in a reactive way.
Yeah, because like for me, I'll go I get in like an hour or so early before everybody else. So I'll have all what they're gonna do before they get here. So stuff I have to get, like parts or whatever from Lowe's or wherever I need to go, I try to get all that stuff before they get here. So when
Yep.
they do get here, then okay, they come saying, well, I already know what my work orders are. If they say that, well, I don't have this part for this work order. Yes, you do. It's sitting right here. You got so
Yep.
that way you ain't worrying about, they're not worried about, oh, he's always running over to here, he's running over to there, taking care of this, taking care of that. If you were proactive, then you don't have to worry about it. Sometimes there's a little extra work being proactive, trying to stay ahead of the game. But if you stay ahead of it, you don't have that many questions about it.
Yeah, that's well said. Thank you, Vince. Let's go to Courtney, and then we'll hear from you, Oxford.
Going back to exactly kind of piggybacking off of Vince and Addison with my visibility is accountability. Something that we recently rolled out is a 5 and 5 for all team leads. You've got 5 minutes, the first 15 minutes of the morning, and everyone's got 5 minutes to say their top 5 things. So I think that we should also all have an understanding that we know things randomly change in this industry, right? We have our day set and then boom, you've got a huge leak that is very unexpected, right? And we couldn't plan for it. So a couple of things is accountability of holding everybody accountable, having that 5 and 5 daily meeting with all team leads. That's MTLs, LMTLs, ACM, CAS, community managers, right? That's your time to say, hey, we're having a pool party on Friday. We need the pool extra sparkling versus having that conversation on Thursday night. Like, hey, do you know we have a pool party tomorrow? Right? Here's your opportunity to say, hey, I have a really meeting heavy week. There's not always a meeting heavy week, but like this week is specifically for me because of the short week and just kind of what comes with that. And literally saying like, please, I'm back to back. I'm not invisible, but I'm around. Which leads me to my next thing in talking about mentorship. Something to remember on this call is that we're all invisible mentors, right? And an invisible mentor is when you're mentoring somebody and you don't realize that you are. So when Joe's talking about, leading by example and being a servant leader and nothing is too small, everybody sees that, right? What you're seeing, what your team sees might be, is that the mentor? Is that who I want to be or who I don't want to be? Like Joe is saying. So every action that we do all day long and every job that we participate in, event that we do, we're mentoring somebody, whether we realize it or not. And I think it's always good to have that mindset.
I love that, Courtney. That term invisible mentor is definitely going to stick with me. I think it speaks to the responsibility that we all have in our seats, to be good stewards of the culture and the values and create that opportunity for others after us. So yeah, I love that. Thank you. Oxmar, how about you?
Addison, I don't have a team. I haven't had a team in a little while, so I don't know if this is going to be exactly what I'm going to say. But what I've done before in the past is, like Courtney said, I had a top 3. I made my team meet me the first 15 minutes of the day and have our top 3. And that way they are able to schedule their own day as well. In the future, the first few months, I scheduled a day for them, but as I trusted them more and more, having them accountable for their own schedules, it made it easier for myself and for them to know what steps to take to go on to the next job role. And yeah, like Joseph was saying, that I always like someone to replace me. I'm always there temporary. Someone's going to replace me at some point. I just got to train them, and I got to find the right person that wants to learn. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Oxmar. That's great perspective. And in the learning and development world, we use the term scaffolding, where you build the supports of knowledge of concepts, and then you slowly start to peel those back as you recognize that the person has more understanding. So, you're very much living that out in your sort of leadership development for your team members. So that's really cool to see.
Can I piggyback off of that? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Vince.
I'm the same way. See, I got a guy here now. I'm trying to train him take my spot, just like Joe said. Because I would like to. But if you don't have nobody to take your spot, then you just leave people shorthanded. That ain't what you want to do. So my guy now, he's learning. He's seeing like the times that I'm out or I'm at another property helping out or whatever. He's finding out now what it actually takes to actually do the MTL job. And another thing you can do, and I thought about trying this experiment too. I haven't tried it yet. With guys who, if you have a property and guys are always saying, thinking that you're not doing as much as you know that you are, I would suggest, and I might try this myself, as take one day, let them be in charge, and let them run the show, and let them see the stress and where you got CM on you, vendors talking to you, or whatever, just to let them see, okay, this is what he goes through every day to keep our property afloat, to make things like it should be. That could be a suggestion too.
I love that. And really, Vince, you're speaking to like the whole motivation purpose for this call and this program. It's to get that direct insight from the people who are doing the job to see what it's actually like, behind the scenes. And, so many of you are peers in this space and can really speak to that and have that shared experience here. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing that. Joe, we'll give it back to you.
Last thing I just was going to talk about is, getting ready for turn prep. For me, turn's the playoffs for your super playoffs, and then moving days your Super Bowl. This is going to be my 6th turn I'm doing now. So I've done quite a bit and have kind of a way I like to do it. And so just, again, it's a lot about knowing your team. Hey, these 2 people can probably knock out our room together in, 5 minutes. This one, he'll probably take a little longer. So it's about doing that, pairing them up just so everyone is the most efficient possible, get the most turns done or most rooms turned as fast as possible. Luckily, we're almost at 50% here, so we won't be touching too many rooms. But it's just, again, it's knowing your team, and it's not just on the work aspect. For me, I truly try to know my team on a personal level, whether it is the turn temps, it's my actual maintenance team, or even the leasing side. I'll show up with everyone's favorite Starbucks order one day. Whatever your favorite candy bar, you'll find it on your desk, one morning. I try to know everyone on a personal level, because from what I've learned in this, in this company, or even just in life in general, knowing that someone cares about you at work and outside of work can change your whole demeanor of, I'm going to work again, or I get to go to work again. Knowing that someone actually isn't just there to tell you what to do, but they have your back, you kind of feel more, you want to go to work, you want to do more. So for me, turn prep is knowing my team, knowing what I can do to most benefit them, and having a game plan. I am someone who has to have everything written out to a T of, we are doing rooms 1, 2, and 3 today. Tomorrow we'll do 3, 4, or 4, 5, 6. I can't do, room 1, 3, 5, 6, 10. No, my brain doesn't work that way. So I'm very much, it's about, getting your game plan worked out. Like, I'm going to pick on Tony again, because I know your property, you have 20 something different buildings. So in your head, you're just mapping out like, all right, we're going to do these buildings, then we're going to do that building. For us, I've already told my team we're doing one building at a time. So once we figure out, all our move outs of building 1, we're going to tackle building 1. Once we, then we're going to go over to building 5, building 2, 3, and then tackle our biggest monster, which is our building 4, which has our most residents in it. And it's just having the structure makes it feel like it's, you have control over it. But yeah, and then coming down to dealing with the stress of turn, just knowing you have a way out. I've told everyone that I've talked to, you know, if you need a break, just talk to me. Don't just disappear. Don't just, you know, hey, no call, no show because you had a stressful day yesterday. You need to have that level of communication. I can only help you as much as you're willing to help me. So yeah, dealing with the stress of it, that's the hardest part of turn, especially when you have new people. I mean, this year we have about 8 new people doing turns. So it's going to be fun teaching the new team how to run through a room and what is actually an emergency fix and what can be fixed with, you know, 2 seconds of paint.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, I remember someone last year leading into turn prep talking about,
wait a minute. I got the what's the name tester, the line tester.
can you just mute this while you're
So how you gonna know that if you don't have a meeting? This is the dumb stuff I'm talking about.
I don't know if I have, can I mute him? Yes, okay. Yeah, so anything, Joseph, on the vendor management side of that conversation that you feel like has worked really well for you?
Just really knowing who your vendors are. Like I've walked with all my vendors, and I've been doing that for the last 3 of my properties, was walking with vendors and, you know, showing them the building.
Yep.
We're using a lot of our same vendors that we've used in the past, so we know the level of work that we expect from that, or that they will give to us, and they know what we expect from them. Just yeah, for vendor wise, it's just finding someone that you know will care about your property as much as you do.
Yep. Finding that values alignment, why they're doing the work in the first place, right?
Yeah. You know, because I mean, we've had, you know, companies that have came in and they mess around and they're not really helpful, and then, you know, day before move in, you find out that half your rooms aren't even painted.
Yikes. Yeah. Not the kind of surprise you want.
Oh. But yeah.
I was on a turn training call yesterday, and the recommendation there was to, if it is a new vendor, you know, a relationship you're not super familiar with, walking behind them, you know, having like proof of concept work to have them do on a smaller scale to make sure that it matches your expectations, that sort of thing. Any other best practices that have worked for folks well as we look at to turn season?
I was going to say, on the vendor front, it's also a good idea to get all of your vendors together in the same room to talk about how is your workflow going to go. So your vendors can meet each other. You're all going to be on site with your vendors, and you're essentially a big team, right? So it's like, who's going first? Is it painters, then cleaners, then carpet cleaners? Knowing that they have that order. Buy them lunch. It's well worth it. Get them on, you know, kind of a round table and talk through that process with everybody, I think is really, really key. And it's also a good opportunity to ask for sponsorship money. If anybody's out there doing budget boot camps or other things, or you guys want to do extra things, promise you, we spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with these vendors. Like, what, our budget's $300,000 for turn at one location this year. They can sponsor $500 for a lunch or an event for our team. I guarantee you they can. So just a little plug.
No, I appreciate that. That's well noted, Courtney. Some more resources for folks as we approach a very crazy time. What else, everybody? We got a few minutes left. Happy to stay on past the hour if folks have more questions. But otherwise, I'm happy to let people go early. Yeah, Oxmar, see your hand.
So I have a question related somewhat to turn. So for our property, we don't have really staff. I'm the only maintenance team lead here, the only maintenance side of the property. So what do you guys suggest is a good way to hire or get new perspectives to try to hire new people here?
Are you saying
Because
like for turn temps or like for your to rebuild your team?
rebuild the team for turn so I could train them so they're turn ready.
Yeah.
basically.
So I mean, what I've done in the past, or like even for this property, we had we offered two of our turn temps, jobs, and it was after I saw who they were for during turn, how dedicated they were they completing the jobs that were asked of them, were they giving 100%, or was it just enough to get the job done kind of idea. But yeah, no, also we use a lot of our residents for our turn temps, and then after that base it off of, hey, you did such a great job during turn, would you like a job outside of that? And then rebuilding your team that way, whether it be, college students, getting them on as porters, or the kid who's about to graduate who has no clue what he's going to do to be a tech for, a year, and kind of just building off of that. And you really have to see what they're made of during turn.
Yeah, Courtney.
Other ideas for rebuilding your team, and Joe, that's great. I think I love giving them the opportunity to show themselves before you bring them on full time is absolutely huge, because if somebody can cut it or not. If they make it through turn, like, they're probably a pretty solid team member, right? And then some ideas that we've done in the past is, if you're out to eat, talking to, even a server or busser that you see running around. Are they looking for a new position? Did you have phenomenal customer service that you feel like can be brought back to you? Attendance at Lowe's and Home Depot, were they helpful? Did they know what they were talking about? Did they bring you right to the part that you needed? Things that we've done in the past, and it's a little sneaky, but driving around competitor communities and hotels in the area. Do you see somebody outside like power washing the building? Do they want a new opportunity? Walk up and talk to them. I've found multiple people that way. And don't count out hotels, like I said. And then the other things, like, are there any tech schools in the area or two-year colleges that you can promote to talk to, like guidance counselors in there for people who are looking for positions after graduation, or even looking for part-time roles while they're going to school, in that technological field. So just a couple of ideas.
Yeah, that's wonderful, Courtney. Really great way to cast a wider net, when you're looking to find those folks. Great question, Oxmar. Anything else on the actual preparation for these new team members, Joseph, that you have in mind? How would you get them up to speed in a month?
One more time?
Basically, how do you get people up to speed, turn ready in the time we have?
You throw them to the wolves.
And see what survives.
I mean, yeah, no, that I don't. There's no real prep for turn unless you're gonna start having them, do squats with 50-pound dumbbells in the gym or something. There's turns. You find out who has it and who doesn't.
Yep.
I love turn. Turn's my favorite time of the year. Mostly because I don't sleep and I just keep running around the whole time. I get told I have to go home.
Yep. Definitely long days, trial by fire, for sure.
Oh yeah. But no, other than that, I'm all good here.
Love it. Any other questions from folks before we say our goodbyes? And I'll send out a little survey after the fact, asking for your feedback, thoughts on what you'd like to see in the future with the program. But really appreciative of everyone's time today, the engagement. It was great from you all. Great to see some new faces. and hope to see you next month. I'm going to be joined by Kyle Medley, so we'll have a PM perspective next month on the call. Thanks, everybody. I'll be sticking around past the hour if anyone has any lingering thoughts or questions. But yeah, thank you all for coming today.
Yep. Thank you
Thanks,
guys.